Hello and welcome to my podcast, Up Your Total Glow, your podcast for your body, mind, and soul to support, guide, and empower you to uncover your most glowing, healthiest, and feel good version of you. I am super excited that you're here because if you ask me, there's nothing that looks and feels better. In today's episode, I'm speaking with the absolutely brilliant Lea Dombrowski. Lea is a holistic health coach and nutritionist, and she specializes in gut health, hormone balance, fitness, and functional medicine. Lea is very passionate about helping women heal from the inside out. She is very passionate about helping them to heal from things like bloating and acne in a natural way so that they can finally find strength and confidence in their bodies. Lea uses nutrition, fitness, lifestyle changes, and functional medicine for a holistic approach that addresses the person as a whole. Her mission is to help women feel seen, heard, and supported on their health journey. In this absolutely beautiful interview, Lea shares her own journey with us and all her amazing wisdom, how you too can feel more whole and healthy in your beautiful body. Please enjoy. Here she is, the amazing Lea Dombrowski. Hello, beautiful Lea. I'm so excited to have you here today. Thank you for making the time, especially it is the evening at your end. So I really, really appreciate this. And I can't wait to jump into an amazing and empowered conversation with you. Welcome. How are you?
Thank you so much for having me. I'm great. I'm so excited to be here.
Lea, what inspired you to do what you're doing and what are you doing? How are you empowering others and making our world a healthier, happier place?
Wow. I don't even know where to begin with that question. I guess for me, it's well, first of all, I'm like a holistic health coach and nutritionist, and my purpose and kind of my mission is to help people lose 20 pounds, but really address the gut imbalances and the hormone imbalances that we're seeing run rapid in our in our society today. So really for me, I had horrible gut issues my whole life, but around the age of 20, they got really bad where I would have bloating every single day. I looked 9 months pregnant. I had chronic fatigue that I barely could function. I was exhausted all day, every day, had horrible brain fog, insomnia. Oh my God, I lost my period for years. I got diagnosed with an autoimmune disease, and I had this stuff just got piled up year after year of kept piling up, and nobody helped me, nobody had answers, and I'm like, well, what the heck, you know? So that's kind of where it got me into functional medicine, what got me into nutrition, the fitness, what got me passionate about all these things, because I'm like, there has to be more and better answers out there instead of feeling horrible all the time. So that's kind of why I'm here, and that's why I decided to step into this because I saw so much junk on my journey. So, yeah.
Wow. It's really fascinating how the body is screaming louder and louder when we don't listen, or in your case, when we just don't know how to support our bodies the best way. So why do you think you had such an imbalance in your gut? Where did all this come from? With, having all the facts now, knowing everything that you know now, I just think it might be empowering to understand the root cause, the reasons behind all of this. And then the other question I have, okay, you wanted to, help your body heal, so you went onto this search to find another way. But what did really inspire you, or how did the other methods help you to truly improve your gut health?
Well, for everybody's root cause is different. For me, like I was on chronic antibiotics majority of my life, like the whole like from age 0 to 1, like the first year of my life, I was on antibiotics like pretty much every single day. And the first year of your life is obviously where your microbiome is developing, like you're literally growing as a human being. So that obviously has an impact. Like antibiotics, I was on birth control, I was on antidepressants, I was on this, I was on that. Like all these medications, like they're doing more harm than good. Like, yes, medication has a time and a place, and I respect that. But especially with things like birth control, like that pisses me off. It just there's so many side effects and like it causes a lot of harm on your body. And then so that was a big thing for me. But also like with everything in our environment, the toxins, the food system, that's not very good. Like the pollution, like the this, the that, like that's all impacting your gut as well. Even things like freaking stress, like that is like literally can tear your gut apart. So I think it's just with the world we live in, with the over prescriptions, with the food, with this, with that, like we're just having these gut issues now. And the reason I like functional medicine, like you asked, is like, why is functional medicine different? Is because instead of getting a freaking antibiotic or birth control or some band-aid approach, we're getting to the root cause. So we're going to look at your gut, be like, okay, what happened? Like what is going on? Like why are you having these gut issues? Were you on antibiotics? Like what's going on here? And we're going to give you like supplements and tailored recommendations to get to the root cause. So for example, with my autoimmune disease, like I wasn't put on medication. I was given supplements to send my autoimmune disease into remission. So I don't have to live with it anymore, and I don't have to live on like a friggin' medication for the rest of my life. So it's completely different. And we're looking at lab work completely different. We're looking at a human being in a completely different way. So it kind of just helps us to see like what's the root, like what's the root cause. So that's kind of the difference.
I love it. And what I'm hearing is that you then actually help the body to go into healing mode and to rebalance instead of just, like you said, putting a band-aid on, and you might think, oh, everything is good, when underneath actually nothing is good, and things might still be compiling on top of each other, and there might be more imbalance. Thank you so much for sharing. I asked this question because this is exactly what came to my mind when you shared your story in the beginning. Like, there must be a reason, and very likely it's a lot of antibiotics or other medication in your childhood. And I do think this is very empowering to hear, even though in itself this is not empowering, but understanding, oh, actually, this has an effect on my body, and we can do something. We can empower ourselves by making different choices. So I think it's really important to be open about this and share it with others to help others, make more empowered choices, because I, for myself, didn't know much about contraception or the contraceptive pill. Obviously, this was also way ago. But if I had known these things, I think I would have definitely supported my body in a different way. So I was lucky, and I didn't have to deal with so many obvious side effects after that, but I hear so many stories which are very different. So I think this is super powerful, and I really thank you for that. You touched upon the topic of stress, and I think this is another one that is so important in our time, because it is my opinion that we are all chronically stressed and so much more stress than we think we are. Are you still with me, Leah? I think we've got some connection issues.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Oh, do
Uh,
we?
maybe it's just
Oh.
my end. There's a lot of rain today at my end, so I have to excuse myself for that. So, but yeah, can you please tell me a little bit about the connection between the gut and stress, and maybe also like from your own experience and what you see in your clients, because this is a huge one.
Yeah. I think, everything is connected and people don't really understand that. It's like people think everything is wrong and there's like 10 different reasons why they have brain fog and that their gut hurts and that they lost their period and they're like, okay, well, there must be like 10 things wrong with me, but it's usually like one thing and everything's connected to one another. Like our body is smart, So if you start addressing one thing, kind of it compounds to address everything. So, yeah, stress and your gut is very connected. Like the way you think of, like, I know it sounds weird, but like that's something you consume. Like your thoughts are something you consume, and like they're actually like neurotransmitters that are connected from your brain to your gut. It's literally the gut brain axis. So what you think goes directly into your gut. And when we talk about gut issues, I think the big thing I see is people stressing out about their gut issues and they're being like, okay, this food is going to make me bloated. This is going to make me feel bad. Like I'm so bloated. I hate it. Like this like overwhelm of like negativity, I guess. And that's like, how can you heal your gut when you're consuming all this negativity and your gut and your brain are connected? So I guess that goes to show like you address your gut health, like that directly correlates with things like depression, anxiety. I had horrible depression and anxiety growing up as well. I told you I was on antidepressants, but like I also had terrible gut issues, like not as bad as they were when I was older, but like throughout my childhood I still had stomach pain. I was always sick. I was constantly getting tonsillitis and strep throat and all this freaking stuff, like even in high school and stuff. And I was like, what's going on, right? And it's like I had depression and I thought nothing was connected, but they are, because once I started addressing my gut health, my anxiety and my depression got so much better.
Mm.
So I think it's like everything makes a difference. So no matter what you do, even if it's like going on a walk every single day, if it's drinking more water, if it's meditating for 10 minutes, like that can make a difference. And I think people don't realize how like much the little things do matter.
Absolutely, 100%. And I love that because, again, it is so empowering. It truly means that if we are willing to take one little step at a time, we can uncover a healthier, happier version of ourselves. So the ball is in our hands, and it doesn't mean that, we are completely exposed to the knowledge, experience, and goodwill of the expert in front of us. But we actually can truly help our self-healing um, to come into play. So I really, really love that. And I agree with you. So no matter where you start, just start. Do one
Mhm.
little thing at a time. So you mentioned also chronic fatigue. And this is something that I see a lot. So obviously
Mhm.
also connected to the poor gut health. But can you maybe a little bit share with us um, how does this truly look like and feel like? So obviously you're tired, but maybe can you mirror it from a little bit different angles? Because I still feel that with lots of my clients, they don't connect the dots. Like it's not only that you're just tired, there are different signs and symptoms. Um, and what are you doing to help your clients?
Yeah, I think chronic fatigue is one of the worst things I ever experienced. Like it really like you're gonna know. Like it's not just like you're tired every day. Like that's not it. Like if you're tired every day, that's probably just some like lifestyle balances that need to be made. But like chronic fatigue is deliberating. Like you can barely function. Like I said, I could barely freaking function. I would be in a room and I wouldn't be there because I had such bad brain fog where I couldn't even think straight.
Mm.
So for me, it was more so like brain fog. Like, think about it. It's literally inflammation of your brain. So
Yeah,
it's like your brain fogging up. It's like, I don't know, like it's kind of, I guess, like you said, it's like people just say tired. But like it's like for me, it was like going and doing an activity was absolutely horrendous because I
yeah,
could barely walk, I could barely function. Like it just being present was probably like the hardest thing to do because you just and it's like also usually also paired with most of the time insomnia. So it's like being super tired and then being awake at night, like despite being tired and not being able to sleep. So like that wired and tired feeling. So that's just like more so like on like what it feels like. And then yeah, obviously it is inflammation. So gut health would definitely benefit that, but also like I mentioned,
mm,
lifestyle things. So for me, I think the things that I did in my lifestyle made the biggest difference. And if I could give one actionable tip, I guess I'll give two. But like my one actionable, like number one always is to be more in tune with the sun. And I
mm,
know it sounds weird, but the
mm.
sun exists for a reason, right?
Yeah.
So if you are more in tune with it and you wake up in the morning and you open up your blinds, you turn on your lights, you get sunshine on your eye as soon as freaking possible, like that's gonna wake you up. Like, and at night, the same thing. If you start dimming your lights, if you start wearing blue light glasses and you are not exposed to the harsh, bright lights at night, like that's really, really going to help you sleep. Like, more than anything, like that has helped me so much. And then I would say the second thing would just to be consistent, which be honest with yourself. If you're going to bed at friggin' 2 a.m., like you're not being consistent with the bedtime routine. So if you say you're gonna go to bed at 10 p.m., like stick to that. Like you don't have to be perfect and live in a box, but like try your best to like go to bed and wake up at the same time because doing that paired with the sun is gonna train your body like, hey, this is when I wake up. This is when I'm supposed to go to bed. Like, and just being consistent with it because, like, it will, like I said, train your body. Like, when it's close to my bedtime, like, I get tired because I've trained my body to be tired at that time. So, I would say those are my top two tips for like energy levels and insomnia.
Mm. I so love what you said because this is like literally what I preach all the time. Um, we are nature within nature. And yes, we are meant to sleep when it's dark outside, and we are meant to be full of aliveness when the day starts. So I absolutely love what you said. It's also true that if we are not able to sleep at night, we are not able to truly cleanse and rejuvenate our bodies because there are so many things that need to happen at certain times of the night or at
Mhm.
certain times of the day. And if we are not allowing our bodies to do that, then of course we are not able to feel great. What I meant before was when you were, and I didn't ask that very well, I think, but when you were experiencing your chronic fatigue, did you know you had chronic fatigue?
Oh my God, yeah.
Oh, you did.
Oh my
Because
God, yeah.
because
Yeah,
I
I
have
knew.
a
It was obvious.
because I have a few clients who um like, yeah, of course they are tired and they feel like everything is a struggle and they don't feel the spark for life anymore, and they've got this brain fog, but they wouldn't have guessed it's like chronic fatigue. Like they have become so accustomed to everything being a struggle, and I think like chronic
Mm.
fatigue is, yes, debilitating, but it just means, you're only exhausted or something. So this is awesome that you were aware of it.
Yeah. I mean, I get that because like you do get used to it. Like for me, like I didn't feel good for so long and it's like, okay, like this is normal. And I think that's kind of why a lot of these symptoms get dismissed and a lot of
Yeah,
people don't know they're sick or that there's something deeper going on with all these trends like with the hot girl stomach issues and like oh my God, everyone's tired, grow up, and like these just like
yeah,
dismissing statements. I think paired that with like the fact that a lot of people don't reach out to help until it's been going on for years. I think that's kind of what it stems from, where people aren't aware that something's going on and you just don't know how good you can feel until you know.
yeah,
But I guess for me it's like I knew like this like tired feeling was like I was like this isn't normal. Like I know there's something going on and maybe I didn't have a name for it. Like I didn't know what chronic fatigue was, but I was like I could feel my brain inflamed and it's
yeah,
like you can feel it. Like your
yeah.
brain feels like it's on fire. It's crazy. But yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing. And fast forward to now. So, where's your gut health at now? What's happening in your brain? Is the inflammation gone? Are you able to think clearly? It sounds to me like it, but share with us. Where are you at now? And how have you gotten there? So, obviously, with functional medicine, but yeah, talk us through the steps a little bit.
It took a long time. I mean, I like I mentioned, I had gut issues my whole life, and I think it got really bad at the age of 20 when I was 20 years old. So that's when I started looking for answers. And of course, I didn't know what functional medicine was. Like my mom worked at healthcare in a hospital, so I didn't know that existed. I only knew the gastroenterologist. So that was kind of where I was for many years, just going from doctor to doctor until I saw functional medicine. And my first functional medicine doctor was not good. And that's kind of the caveat here, is that not every single
Yeah.
practitioner, doctor, even in this holistic field, is good. There are red flags in every field. And I think functional medicine now, unfortunately, is turning into a money grab, just like Western medicine. So you walk in and they want to give you 30 supplements and 10 different
Mm.
tests and like this and that. And I'm like, you don't need that. Like, you don't need 30 supplements because your body can't do 30 things at once. Like, it's overwhelming. And
The
not even
liver.
to
Ah.
mention, yeah, like, not even to mention that these functional medicine practitioners don't address your nutrition, don't address your sleep. Like, they didn't freaking look at that. And I'm like, that is such a huge disservice. So it took me a long time. And
Wow, how did
a
it
very,
come you
very long time.
persevered? That's amazing. Like with
It
such an experience, and then you were like, no, I'm gonna continue on my search to have my
Yeah,
body heal. And
it's
continue along that line. It could have also put you completely off. That's amazing.
I mean, I it's frustrating. I mean, there's a lot of junk out there. Like there's a lot. There's a lot of bad coaches, there's a lot of bad doctors, there's a lot. And there's also a lot of good.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's just knowing I wish I knew what I knew now. Like I wish I would have asked the right questions. Like if you walk into a doctor and they're not looking at what you eat, freaking leave. Like please leave. Like, oh my gosh, if they want to do like if they're charging you like an arm and a leg and like $10,000 to for this and that, like it's just so frustrating for me. And like I honestly didn't understand until I did my certifications, until I educated myself. Like that's how far, like how many years I had to deal with this. And I was like, okay, I can't find a good doctor. I can't find a good practitioner, a good coach. So I'm just gonna learn about it myself. Like, and that's kind of what it had to take me, is kind of learning the ins and outs. So it took a long time. And right now, like I'm still in the process of healing because like I mentioned, I was on antibiotics for years and
Yeah.
years and years. So it's not gonna be perfect overnight. I'm not gonna be perfect, but I feel so much better. And I no longer have brain fog. I no longer have insomnia. I sleep at night. Like my bloating has gotten so much better. And just it just takes time to finally like get every single check off because I had a lot of imbalances going on, like dealing with these things for years. But I'm finally on the right track, which I'm very grateful for, and I'm finally moving in the direction where I want to go and feeling better like every month, like, and I'm giving myself protocols and I'm doing the work, and that's something I'm grateful for. It just took a long time, and that's again, I was like, okay, I can't take it anymore. Like there's needs to be something better. Like there needs to be somewhere that helps people not just with functional medicine, but with their nutrition and with their movement and with their lifestyle. And I'm like, enough is enough. Like that's just it's just like I said, such a disservice. It just it pisses me off.
I agree with you. I do think it's very inspiring though that at that level where you were at, that you just, took all your strength and said, okay, I do want to get better. And if no one can really help me, I'm going to learn about it myself and I'm going to help myself and empower myself. And now that you have done that and are obviously still on this journey, as we all are in one way or the other, always, are now empowering others. I think that's absolutely beautiful. And I love that about you. So can you
Thank
please put
you.
it a little bit into perspective? You always say like, it's been a long time, this healing journey. Can you just put it into years? Because it's very hard to judge your age. You only
Oh,
mentioned you were 21 when you were at your worst. And also, I would like to say that, yes, it's true. The body needs time to heal. However, what I find so incredibly inspiring, when you start to truly take action to empower yourself, you will be so surprised by how quickly you actually feel and see some form of improvement. And once you really feel that, you will never ever give up on yourself ever again. You just want to go forward. Do you feel the same?
yeah, absolutely. So I started getting hit in the face with it at, like I said, at the age of 20. I did everything wrong, everything under the sun that was wrong. I did every diet. No diet works. And I think that's a huge myth that, if you're bloated and you have these things that food is the enemy, like food is not the enemy.
Mm.
The diets, all those stuff I tried was a complete waste of time. But when I finally kind of was on the right track, like it took me probably till the age of 22, so 2 years, and that's when I was like finally on the right track. And I was still making a lot of mistakes at that time. Um, with like my nutrition, but that's when I finally put my educator hat on and I was like, let me educate myself. And it took time for me to get the right, things for my body. So I would say like 2 years is when I finally started seeing those differences, like with my nutrition, and I got over my chronic fatigue fairly fast, with the nutrition, the lifestyle changes. Those things alone make a huge difference. And then I would say now I'm 24, so another 2 years for me to like perfect it. Because I
Mm.
feel like this year alone is when I was like, okay, like it took me 2 years to even get there, and another 2 years to kind of knock out all the kinks and actually know like, okay, everything. So
And
I
I
would
love
say in
that. I love
years,
that
yeah.
because you were saying, it took such a long time, it took forever. And when we put it into perspective, like you had like almost 20 years of um by not willingly, but almost by mistake, not really nourishing your body well. And
Mm-hmm.
then within 2 to 4 years, you are able to nourish your body, or even 3 to 2 years, in a way that you feel so amazing now. Yes, you maybe not fully where you want to be, but comparing these two timelines, it's actually so quick. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I'm just so I'm humbled by the ability of our bodies to really rejuvenate, rebalance, and this amazing ability. that they truly have. And I feel it goes fairly quickly, really, if we put it all into perspective. Okay. This aside, tell us, so what can we do if we now experience bloating, if we feel like we've got a lot of indigestion, there's something going on? What are your top tips? Obviously, heal your gut. But is there something that you can share? What might be helpful to avoid? What might be helpful to do? And yes, obviously healing from the inside out, but are there other tips?
Yeah, so step one, like I always tell people, like supplements and testing like can only take you so far. Like you do need the foundations, like what I call them foundations. So foundations are things like sleep, stress, movement, and nutrition. Like that's kind of what it is. So for nutrition, obviously, like we all know it, but like eating whole and nutrient dense foods, like foods with one ingredient, like chicken, apples, broccoli, like really simple foods that are nourishing, that are nutrient dense. The processed food, our gut doesn't love it. The sugar, like the chemicals, whatever is in our food nowadays, like it's very harmful in the gut, can cause leaky gut, can cause an imbalance there. So making things simple. And then also with food, really simple. If you want something that's gut friendly, that's going to help balance your blood sugar, that's going to help inflammation, really easy. At every single meal, just prioritize a fat, a fiber, a carb, and a protein source
Yeah.
at every meal. So what a fat is, that's like olive oil, cheese. A carb, obviously, is the things we love. So like pasta, rice, fiber, that's going to be your fruits, your veggies, your colors. And then protein, the most essential macronutrient, is going to be chicken, beef, salmon, stuff like that. So including all those at your meal, eating a nourishing meal, actually eating 3 meals a day, ladies, like that's a huge thing I see, is that women like to undereat. So actually being honest with yourself, what am I eating? How much am I eating? And how is it making me feel? Like
Mm.
just maybe even doing a food log, food journal, like start making connections, start being honest with yourself. Like that's gonna take you so far. In regards to moving, like any movement you do is gonna benefit your gut, but I would say if you want the most bang for your buck, I would weight lift at least 3 times a week. So that's actually lifting weights. And then walking is great. Walking can help you digest your food. Walking is great for blood sugar. Sleep, we went over that, like be in tune with the sun, sleep at least 7 to 9 hours. And then for stress, everybody's different. So experiment there. So like if you like meditation, breath work, journaling, like whatever, like find ways to make time for yourself, even if it's like 5 minutes of music or something. Like, so I would say that's kind of like the foundations, the basics, and just being honest with yourself about what you're eating, what you're consuming, who you're surrounding yourself with, like what's impacting your stress, your like everything, and just start paying attention because awareness is the first step.
100% agreed. Yes. And nutrition is so much more than only the food we take in. And you touched upon that. It's all that we are taking in, all the energy, everything that we watch, it all has an impact on us. So thank you so much for sharing this. And I love what you said about the idea of actually writing down what you're eating, what you are consuming. And I agree with you that it is really important to be honest. However, again, in my experience, it is very hard actually for women and also sometimes for men, especially for men who are maybe a little bit heavier, um, to really understand if they are eating enough. And it is my
Mm.
experience too that most people who are trying to lose weight are actually under eating. I know
Amen.
it seems not to make sense. I know it makes total sense to you and I, but this is like one of the biggest things that I'm seeing. Um, can you share something about this? What's your experience
Yes,
with this?
I agree. That's why I say, ladies, pay attention because even women at any age, like you'd be surprised, like they might be under eating. Like it's pretty common. Like talked with women who are 20, I've talked with women who are 60, like everybody can under eat. And I
Totally.
know it kind of comes from like the diet culture and like this mentality that calorie deficit and working your ass off is the only way to lose weight, but that's not the case for everybody. And of course, it's the case for some people. I'm not saying it's everybody, but um, so it's basically like the internet calls it starvation mode, but the real word for it is metabolic
Yeah,
adaptation, where basically if you undereat for a period of time, your body is going to adapt and it's going to adapt to the calories as it is given. So at this time, this is where a lot of women will hit a plateau or they will even start gaining weight. And you're like, what's even going on? I'm eating one meal a day. Why am I gaining weight? It's because your body is adapting and it's stressed out because you're not getting the nutrients it needs. So it's like holding on to fat, holding on to everything it can. And it's causing you to be able to lose weight, but it also causes symptoms. Like for me, at one point, I unintentionally, like you said, a lot of people unintentionally undereat. So I definitely was in that point at one point in my life. And for me, like many other women, it causes fatigue. It causes loss of period. It causes people's hair to fall out. It causes issues. Like your
yeah,
gut issue could really be from under eating. It doesn't have to
yeah,
be something complicated like me, like antibiotics and like mold and metals and parasites. It could literally just be your nutrition. Um, and don't be scared at all. Like this is all fixable, it's all repairable. Like it's just takes the right nutrition, the right support to your metabolism because it is impacting and slowing down your metabolism. So you need to support your metabolism while trying to get back to homeostasis, like back to a good point. And what we do in nutrition is called a reverse diet, but you have to do it the right way, in a way that, like I said, supports your metabolism, supports your body, isn't freaking stressful. So that's kind of my 2 cents on under eating, and it's more common than you think. It's
mhm,
like I think the big things I see aside from the symptoms are if you're snacking all day, like you're not having meals, you're only eating one meal a day, you're cutting out carbs. Carbs are not the enemy. So things like that, like I said, just be honest and look at your plate and be like, okay, if it is it like a small piece of chicken and a piece of toast, or is it something that's actually filling and sustainable? So
mhm.
yeah,
I
that's very
100% agree.
important.
And I think here it's also really helpful to reach out to an expert because it truly is my experience that it is so hard to estimate for many people if they
Yeah.
are eating the right amounts or not. And mostly they are not eating enough, not regularly eating, or not eating the right foods for them to really thrive for their makeup or for the situation they are finding themselves in at the moment, which is why I would highly suggest to reach out to an experienced practitioner like Lea, for example. So, where can we find you, Lea?
I'm most active on Instagram, but I'm everywhere. TikTok, Facebook, you can find me. But on Instagram, it's just my name, Leah, Lea_Dombrowski, DOMBROWSKI. I know I have a long name, but that's the one I was given. So yeah, Instagram's probably the best place and the place I'm most active, but you can find me anywhere.
Awesome. And of course, I will put all of this into the show notes. Leah, if you could, I know you've given us so much,
Mhm.
but if you could give my audience just three gold nuggets, just three quick, fairly simple tips how they can help themselves to feel better or to be more inspired about their health and well-being.
Yeah, I would say first things first, you're not alone. And bloating, these symptoms, they're common. I get it, but they're not normal. So, you know, that's the first thing, is just admitting and being honest with yourself. Like I said, awareness is the first step, and understanding like, hey, I don't feel good and everybody's telling me it's normal, but I know my body and I know my body better than anybody else, and I know something's wrong, so I'm going to advocate for myself and show up and try to figure it out. And I get it. So, you're not alone. So I would say that's always first. Second, would say just start paying attention to what you're consuming, like we already went over, and pay attention to what you're eating, if you're eating enough, if you're really stressed out, and be honest. And I know it's hard, and I know it's hard to be honest with yourself. So try your best and try to be try your best, I guess. And then I would say third is that don't be afraid to ask for help and to reach out, because there's so much junk on the internet, and I wasted so much of my time and so much of my money on quick fixes, on all these things you see online, and they don't work, or if they do work, they work for like a month and then it just comes back. So actually be aware and don't fall for the marketing scams you see online, because a lot of people tend to fall for them. So I would say those are my three actionable steps: is just be aware, start paying attention to what you're consuming, and actually ask for help if you need it.
I love it. Awesome tips. And I love that you touched upon the quick fixes. And I think this is also one great way how to figure out if this is a practitioner you might want to invest in. If there is a quick fix involved, hmm, maybe not the best way to go about it, because it will backfire, as we said in the beginning, if the actual imbalance isn't addressed. And this might take time, but if it isn't addressed, if it's like sort of trying to just go over it without addressing it, the imbalance will become bigger and it will backfire, and you might find yourself in more trouble than you were before. And I think Leah's story here is super powerful, how it compiled on top of each other. And I would like to say, I don't think I understand that it feels like this, like you wasted so much money and time, but I don't think you actually did. I think your journey was there to truly understand yourself better, to learn more about yourself so that you can help others in a more empowered and better way. And yeah, I really appreciate you for it. I think you're amazing. What are you mostly inspired by at the moment? Is there something that you personally feel inspired by at this moment in time?
Oh wow, that's a good question. Like, what inspires me? I'm like, I don't,
Where to
geez.
start? So many.
I'm like, uh, I don't know. I think for me, I'm just a very internally motivated person.
Mm,
Um, like what inspires me is truly like making a difference and helping people. Like I know it sounds like weird and like fake and like that what's what everybody would say, but like that's truly my purpose, is like even if I don't make a dollar, even if I don't do anything like in my business, it's just like I want to reach people and I want to help and I want people to feel less alone. And that's always been my purpose. Is like my business is called Living with Strength, is because like I believe everybody has strength within them. Everybody everybody has a purpose. Everybody has something in them that's more than them. It's just how to find that. And we're all suppressed nowadays. And I had a really crappy, don't know if I can curse on this, childhood. I I was went through the ringer. Like I really been at my lowest of lows, and like strength to me and like that word and like people like truly inspire me, because when I meet somebody like who's been through something, or even if they haven't, just somebody and they have like this strength within them that's not uncovered, and it's just like that's so inspiring to me. Like just people inspire me, and like seeing people find themselves, find their strength, find their purpose, find their why, like step into this power, this confidence, and be like, hey, this got issue, it's like not normal, like, and step into that and stand up for themselves and go after a goal of them, like a goal of theirs. Like that inspires me, and like seeing people evolve and grow as human beings, like that is my purpose, and I just want to help people feel less alone and help them find their strength, and that's just what keeps me going. So I
And that
hope
is
that answers the
why I
question.
love you and what I love you for. So, so beautiful. And this is, where we have so much in common. Obviously, I wouldn't
Mm,
be doing this podcast if I didn't have this huge desire to truly help others to understand and see that they truly are here to live their best life, and that they can do so much better. If you are at this moment in time not feeling great in your body, if you feel you're just surviving, if you are not thriving, then please, please, please know you can do so much better. Reach out to someone you trust, reach out to Lea, reach out to myself, reach out to someone you trust, and find your strength and start one step at a time to glow again, because you can. So thank you
so
so much, Lea. You are amazing. And yeah, thank you for connecting. Thank you for making the time. And above everything, thank you for keeping trusting in yourself, not giving up on yourself, and finding your light, and now empowering others with the amazing things that you have learned and that you're doing. I really, really love what you're doing, and I can highly recommend you. Thank you so much. You're
thank
amazing.
you. Thanks for having me, and I'm so grateful to be here, and thank you for listening and for growing with me, and I'm very grateful. So thank you.
Keep glowing, beautiful. Much love. If you loved and enjoyed this episode, then please help me to make our world a healthier, happier place. And you can do so by sharing this episode with just one other person who you feel would greatly benefit from it. I know that you were born to live your best life and feel absolutely amazing in your beautiful body, your brilliant mind, and your boundless soul. So what are you still waiting for? Please make sure you do. I'm your biggest cheerleader. I believe in you. Keep glowing. Much love.